What is up, Miracle Fighters? It's Pton here. Welcome back to the channel. So it's been about a month since my last Cardfight Vanguard ZERO tournament video, and today, as you can see, I'm back with yet another Fighters tournament video. Now this one is actually recorded the end of last month, end of April, right? And I'll be trying out Tachikaze Ancient Dragons. Quite fitting, considering that my previous video uploaded before this is also a video featuring Ancient Dragons, true Ancient Dragons in fact, for V Premium. But anyways, back to this video. Yeah, I decided to try Ancient Dragons, and this was the end of last month, so there's a lot of Link Joker players or whatnot, I guess. But our first matchup is against Gold Paladin Liberators. Okay. So with this hand, even though I missed grading, I decided not to redraw anything. I guess I do have the habit of not really wanting to see too many grade 3s in my hand in the early game, because I always believe that I'll be able to draw into them later on. I have 2 turns also to draw into them. So I decided to keep my hand. Alright, so no grade 3 in sight, but it's okay. Going to the Iguana Gawk. Yep, I check a crit here. Now I actually played 2 crits in my Ancient Dragons deck, just for the chances of triple critting my opponent if I'm on Tyranno Legend or if I broke right on Spiral Driver. I find that the extra crit really helps. It also helps in triggering Death Race as well, whose skill, right, activates if your Vanguard's attack does not hit. So this early crit is actually quite beneficial, I guess, pushing my opponents to 2 damage already with 1 swing. Okay, so he doesn't use his Vanguard skill to draw a card, which I'm not sure why, but I guess he doesn't want to use his counterblast too early. It makes sense to be a bit more conservative about counterblasting, because back when I recorded this video, the countercharger for Liberators, the White Rainbow Liberator Balan, if I'm not wrong, was not released yet. So if you're playing a pure Liberators deck, you might find the deck to be maybe a little bit counterblast heavy. So Dino Crowd allows me to hit over damage triggers by retiring one of my rear guards. And Baby Rex can Superior Call like Tyranno Legend. So in the end, I'm not really minusing. So here my opponent double heals out of it. So in the end, I dealt a damage of net 0. So it goes into the Wolfang Liberator Garmo. So I'm just checking out his effects. So opponent doesn't have any boosters, which means one of his attack relies on him checking a drive trigger in order to hit. He does check a draw trigger, give it to his rear guard, and allowing him to hit as well. Draw trigger, can I draw a grade 3? Yes, I do draw a grade 3, but it's my critical trigger, it's my Black Hill Castle. So it's not an Ancient Dragon and it doesn't have any effects on the Vanguard Circle, but I still decided to ride it anyways, just for that twin drive and for that slightly higher base power. Okay. So as you can see here, I'm leaving myself with only 1 intercept on the field, so that I can take some damage in the event I draw into limit breakers, and also for me to check more damage triggers. So I got a really lucky drive check, and I drove check into double draw triggers, one of them giving me a Tyranno Legend to prepare for my next turn. As for my opponent, I guess him calling down 2 intercepts prevented me from giving him that limit break that he really wants for Wolfang Liberator Garmo. If he had caught 1 less intercept, maybe he would have been able to fill up his entire field. Right. Okay, so his Blaster Blade Liberator retired my intercept, but Blaster Blade Liberator without a boost cannot hit any of my units. He doesn't try any triggers and only take 1 damage, so this turn was pretty uneventful for him. Now with the Tyranno Legend, I can finally go into a true Ancient Dragon gameplay. So actually I have quite a bit of combos in my hand. So as you can see, I'm playing the Brachio series in an Ancient Dragon deck, and that's because Tyranno Legend in this game has been buffed such that his effect does not require him to retire only Ancient Dragons. This means that I can use the Brachio series to help me generate additional attacks and additional pluses, which is really nice. Here I activate Dark Rex, so I give my booster the boost, and you will see why it's important, right, later on. So my limit break, I just retire 1 front row rear guard and 2 of my back row rear guards. Against double crit, I have a Dark Rex waiting for me, and Iguana God can call itself back. And also the this can call the grade 2 out. Super call Brachio Carrier. So over here my opponent does not have any PGs, so the attack just goes through. But if he had a PG, I could Superior Right, or I could also push him to 5 with my outer column. And he doesn't trade any heals, so there we go for the first round. Basically my double crit won me the game. Technically, if he perfect guarded for my Vanguard, I could still go into the Superior Right, although I will lose a bit of power, but depending on my drive checks, I may be still able to hit for 2 more attacks and potentially win the game as well. But that's fine. We'll move on to round 2. Now, for my second round, I'm up against Link's Joker, which was April's most played, one of April's most played clan. And Tachikaze against Link Joker, I guess we have ways around it because we have self-retire, so this allows us to clear out our front rows or clear out some of our circles to prevent the opponent from locking the unit on the circle. Right. And, okay, so they start off with a Swash Child starter. So I'm expecting the Swash Child series, but then they miss right. They go into Aurora Eagle instead. Okay, as for me, I started out with quite a good hand. As you can see, I did not redraw at all. I had a PG, I had a grade 1 to right, I had a grade 2 to right, I had the break right, as well as the Tyranno Legend, my main Vanguard. So here once again I check into one of my 2 critical triggers, giving me insane advantage early game. So super lucky, for 2 games straight I check into a critical trigger for my first attack. Here they go into Gravity Collapse, but luckily because they missed the right, they cannot lock my rear guard. Okay. Check a wasted heal, but technically it's not wasted. It makes it such that my opponent has to check a trigger to pass, and they do. It's a critical trigger, unfortunately for me. Okay, the draw is nice. Double draw is nice. Once again, filling up my hands with intercepts and PGs. Alright. Let's go into Dino Crowd. Let's see. Do I call I think I call this. Call the grade 2 vanilla. Because I noticed that my opponent does not have any back row rear guards besides the Vanguard booster. So by having the grade 2 vanilla, it forces my opponents to call grade 1s to the back row. And if they don't, they cannot hit. Right, they have to use the Vanguard to swing at my rear guard. And I know that they are playing crits. So swinging the Vanguard to the rear guard is not something that they want to do. Anyways, it's my opponent's turn here. They go into Multiverse Dragon. Multiverse Dragon requires it to be on limit break in order for its effect to go off. So its effect doesn't go off. And he calls on Chaos Breaker Dragon. Okay. And his hand size is looking really tiny. Guess it's because he's playing crits, not draws. Okay, he does play draws. It's Infinite Zero Dragon. I take to 5. 5 is very risky. So since I'm getting rushed so much, I decided to skip my break right and go straight into Tyranno Legend. So right now I'm just thinking about what to call. 3 rearguards enough for me to retire, but I don't really want to be retiring the grade 2, so what I did was I chose to call another grade 3 as retire fodder. Okay, so now it doesn't really matter how I attack, I just have to use my rearguards first before I use my Vanguard. Okay, they are at 4. Let's see whether they have a PG. So if they do, I still can create 1 additional attack due to Terreno Legend's effect, Superior Calling a booster, and Baby Rex's effect of Superior Calling a Terreno Legend. I do get a heal, which is really big here, because it means that I have leeway of taking 1 more damage if they happen to lock my intercept. So here they do survive the turn, albeit only having like very little cards in their hand. And they go into Multiverse Dragon, which, because they are in limit break now, they can use this effect to lock my front row rearguard. In this case, they lock my intercept, which is a very obvious play. Okay, so I will definitely be using up my PGs, but not all of my PGs, right? Because I checked the heal trigger the previous turn, so I'm at 4 damage, can afford to take 1 damage and try to get some damage triggers. So my opponent attacks with Francium first. Okay. And they attack with the Vanguard. Checking the crits, but that's fine, we do have the PG. Do have some Sentinels. And we survive the turn. However, we only have 2 front row circles. I decided to just stay on Terreno Legend because I only have 1 card in hand, and I could go double crit against them and they need to check 2 heals in order to survive. So right now I've pretty much won. I can make 3 attacks because of the nature of Tachikaze. Right. Even though we only have 2 front row circles, but we can multi-attack. And there we go for this game. Right, so that's our second win. Really exciting. We're 2/3 on our way there of winning the entire Fighters tournament. So let's go. Let's move on to round 3. And for round 3, our opponent will be Nova Grapplers. Alright. Yeah, I do remember back in April, Blaus was also quite a popular deck and one of the best decks, one of the strongest decks as well in the format. So here I redraw the heal, I kept everything else. Now I don't start off with a PG, but at least I'm not misgrading. Okay, stand up Vanguard. Yep, they are playing Blaus. They have Morgan Rhodes as their starting Vanguard. So against Blaus, I think Blaus was one of the few decks that I really had trouble fighting. Damn, I never knew how to really play against them. They have access to PG searchers, intercept searchers, and their break rate is kind of insane. They have resetting Vanguards, they have insane card draw, multi-attacks. So I really got to play my cards right in this game if I really want to win. Check an early draw is good. Okay. So I do know of some players who damage deny on grade 1 turn, so as to prevent them from adding cards with Morgan Rod, but I don't see the need to. Damage denial isn't going to help me win. I guess for Tachikaze we can afford to go a bit aggressive because we do have our double crit Vanguards. So I was just checking what card they added to the hand. Mount Blau Kluger. Alright. So my turn, I go into the grade 2 vanilla. I need to hit over damage trigger, so yeah. Yay, 1 PG down for them. Checking into another draw, feels really great. Okay, so push them to 3. So depending on whether they give me limit break, I can go into either Tyranno Legend or keep on Spinal Driver. So I think I'm gonna ride Spinal Driver because they seem to be denying me damage as well. They seem to be playing a bit more conservative. Okay, so I can afford to drag the game a little as well. I think I have enough defense. So with Morgan Rod's effect, so 2 times they've added a grade 3. So 2 times they've added a draw trigger into their hand. So just checking out what that card was. And it's Galaxy Blaus. So the first time they added, they break right. Second time they added their finisher. Here I go into Spinal Driver. If they have some time, I can draw the game out a bit. So here I was thinking like, should I make multi-attacks? And if so, what should my field arrangement be? But after thinking about it for a while, I thought maybe there's no point in making multi-attacks. Maybe I should just, just call down double intercept and just play normally. So I chose not to use Dino Crowd's effect and just played normally. So, oh, checking another crit. So that's my both of my crits are out. And yeah, as you can see, my opponent didn't have any PGs in their hand. Great connection is off, but my opponent doesn't have any PGs in their hand, and I basically won this game. So Morgan Rods didn't manage to find PGs from my opponent. Well, I was just really shocked by the outcome of this game. So yep, there we go. For this, I guess you could call it a best of 3, right? A fighters tournament, Vanguard ZERO. I managed to win with Ancient Dragons in this best of 3. And this was for the last week of April. So I guess the critical triggers were really the highlight of all 3 games. Basically, I was able to check into my 2 off critical triggers in my deck for all 3 games. So I guess I was really lucky. And my opponents were also pretty unlucky. None of them really played their decks to the fullest potential. But yeah, I still hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just a quick Vanguard ZERO 3-game video for you guys. With that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.